Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Leo, Sun, Moon and Ascendant for the month of October. I hope you're well. I'm using the Bonestone and Earthflesh deck for you today. Look at that, it's beautiful. Love the edging. And it's actually only the second time I got it out to use it. I used it on the members live stream that I did a couple of weeks ago. It was the first time that I used it, and now I'm using it for you as the second time. So let's have a look. Oh, my nose is starting to itch already. That's a good sign. Let's see what's going on with Leo at the moment. Have 3 cards for Leo, please. There's the first one, penned out. We've got the 5 of Wands in your recent past. Current energy for Leo. That's interesting. We've got the 6 of Wands and the 4 of Cups for your current energy. And one more for what's coming towards Leo, please. What's coming towards Leo? Whoa, that was 3. No, that's 4 there, and that's 1 fell down there as well. I'm not going to take all of these because that's far too many. But got some conflicted energy going on here. Knight of Cups, 8 of Cups, both in reverse. 7 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles, 8 of Swords. Yeah, well, I'm going to put those back in the deck and we're going to try again. I'll shuffle them back in. And one more card for Leo, please. 3 of Cups. Okay, no major arcana for you this month. We've got the 10 of Wands at the bottom of the deck here. But it is followed by the Magician and thereafter by the Chariot. I love these cards. I'm going to just show you this. 10 of Wands there. Right. The Magician. Gandalf. It's Gandalf there too. And my gypsy self loves this one. That's the Chariot. Oh, I've just noticed the World is under there as well. So it seems like, before we go any further, that there's an awful lot going on behind the scenes with you. There's bigger stuff at play, and I feel like for the most part you're probably slightly unaware of it. I think that's probably the best way to describe what I'm feeling here. I'm gonna get some clarifiers, because there isn't a single major arcana card that's come out for you here. We're just going to go with the rider weight. On the surface, everything seems to be fairly mundane, I would say. But there's strong energy happening in the background, the underlying theme for the reading. So let's have a look at this 5 of Wands. Why is this here for Leo, please? We have the Empress. Oh, shit. I'm going to take those. That's 3 cards. I only want 1. In there. Tell me about this 5 of Wands, please. Done it again. Ace of Pentacles and the Page of Cups, and that was one of the ones that just jumped out. Obviously it was meant to be there, so we'll put that there. Then for your current energy with the 6 of Wands and the 4 of Cups, why is this here for Leo, please? Can you tell me about this? That's the Chariot that had just flipped there. We've got the 6 of Pentacles. Multiple cards coming out everywhere. Ooh. And we have the 6 of Cups, the 2 of Wands, and the 6 of Swords. Ooh, that's 3 6s you've got in the clarifiers there, Leo. That feels quite important. We'll come back to that. And tell me about this 3 of Cups. Ooh. 3 cards there for that as well. 10 of Swords, the Fool, and the 7 of Pentacles. I feel like I might end up pulling another card or 2 for this. So at the bottom of this deck we've got the Knight of Pentacles. There's that slow, steady, methodical energy, perhaps with nothing really going on the, you know, certainly nothing dramatic, nothing that we could pin as like major forces. But you kind of staying a little bit in your own lane this month. Which is interesting because that kind of conflicts somewhat with what was coming out last month. Leave that one with me because it might not be entirely accurate. But underneath that we've got the 10 of Pentacles, which did come out for you last month, and the Ace of Cups, right? A completion and a new beginning of some description. Right. So The first card that you've got is the Five of Wands. Now that's a Leo card, and it can indicate... I think we've just moved into the shadow period for Mercury, so Mercury retrograde, I think I'm already... It can indicate conflict, but it can also indicate competition, right? It's often difficult to tell with the Five of Wands exactly what is transpiring. You know, usually you see 5 youths and they've all got big ones and they look like they're clattering each other about, but it could be play fighting, it could be, you know, that kind of competition thing, a bit of, you know, I don't know, dick swinging around, see who is, you know, the strongest out of all of you. I've actually seen it come up for competitions that I've done when I was kickboxing. It's come up in that, and obviously there's no malice involved with that, but it is physical confrontation of some description. Or it can be something a lot darker than that. It can be actual conflict, and it can be internal or external. Now, in this depiction in the Bonestone, we've actually got youths climbing a tree, and there's somebody at the bottom who has their hand to their mouth, and it looks like they're kind of calling to someone, and they might be telling them to get down, or they might be shouting encouragement, or they might be pointing out who it is who's actually winning the race to get to the top of the tree. There's risk-taking going on here. And it feels like in your recent past, there's been this kind of sense of risk-taking. There's been this sense of trying to be the one to get to the top of the tree first. With you. And I don't feel anything even slightly malicious in here. It's just a drive, it's a push that you've had, you know? To go outside of your comfort zone just a little bit actually is how it's feeling. Right? In whatever way that applies to you, and it could be, you know, a literal move, or it could be, you know, you doing something that you've not done before, but really pushing yourself beyond where you are comfortable in order to get to the top of the tree, you know, metaphorically speaking. The cards that have come out to clarify are really quite intriguing, because we've got the Empress, the Page of Cups, and the Ace of Pentacles. There. Now, the Empress is Taurian energy, or it can be Libra, depending on how you read it. I prefer Taurus because I think there's something inherently, you know, Taurian and earth energy specific about the creation of new life or abundance and things like that. I don't see how it could be a Libran concern, particularly. I know why it's there. I just don't feel like it particularly resonates with me. And we've got more trees in the background. I'm noticing the trees there. Right. The Empress is the archetypal mother. I'm going to throw that in there. And she deals with abundance. She deals with bringing new things into the world, right? And I feel for you, it's a different way of expressing yourself than you have been used to. I think that there's, for a lot of you, you're kind of throwing off any... any need to fit in anymore, right? What this feels like is a complete lack of apology for being who you are. And for a long time, you've actually kind of felt like that's what you should do. Maybe you were told you were a little bit too extra because, you know, you were one of the extroverted Leos. Or maybe it was that you were an introverted Leo, but actually you're just a bit weird and you have some, you know, weird interests. You're not really apologizing for that to anyone anymore. It's like a stand for authenticity is how this is kind of feeling. And you know you can get to the top of the tree. You know it. But it feels to me like you're kind of chasing an opportunity, or you have been chasing an opportunity. Right? With this Ace of Pentacles, this can be something as 3D as, you know, a new job or a promotion or a new house, or, you know, some way of improving your material circumstances in some way. Or it can be a leap for a new kind of reality, right? Drawn to the fact that these youths are trying to climb up at the tree, and this sky hand is the one that's proffering the opportunity. Right, it's up there. You're going to have to climb something to reach it, unless that hand brings it down to you. And at this moment in time, it doesn't kind of feel like it is dropping it in any way. You've got to rise to the occasion, not, you know, have the hand sink. I'm just going to pull one more card for that because I'm super nosy and because it's for Leo and I do love my Leos. Yeah, I thought it would be you. So, some more. Suppose of Cups and Ace of Pentacles. What are you? Eight of Stones. Oh, got the Eight of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands. Yeah. When I said I felt like the Page of Cups was like a lack of a need to apologise anymore for who you are and what you stand for what you believe in, for any of it. You're just kind of throwing off any kind of bushel that you've been hiding your light under, right? Its gloves are off. We've got the Eight of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands keyword here on this card is respect, right? It's like hate me for what I am and don't love me for what I'm not kind of energy in getting off here really, really strongly. And I feel with the Eight of Pentacles, there is you dedicating yourself to something. Now, this might be a cause, or it might be a project, or it might be a set of people, or it might just be the way that you are planning to live your life henceforth, right? Post 2020, you're kind of gearing up, ready for it. I like this. So, in your current energy, what we've got is the Six of Wands and the Four of Cups. And this is interesting because it felt like a conflict straight off the bat as soon as I saw the two cards. The Six of Wands is obviously a Leo card and it talks about victory, right? We like this card. It's about being seen quite often. It's about not really hiding in the background of things, right? It's a very visible card. And it's about feeling victorious. It's about feeling like you're winning in some way. But then we've got this Four of Cups. Now, ordinarily what the Four of Cups would talk about is, you know, feelings of rejection, feeling taken for granted. But this Bonestone interpretation feels different to me. It feels more about setting yourself above, not in any kind of arrogant way, but seeing that there are people for whom, like, it's just not possible for you to really fit in with anymore, right? There's this chap, he's in his boat there, like, and he's looking at the fish, and there are fish under his feet, and it's kind of like there are an awful lot of people around you who do not ever stick their head above the parapet, right? Because they're a target then. Right? But there's something inherent in the Leo that says, I'm okay with being a target. I can cope with being a target, right? I'm gonna make sure that I can do, you know, what I need to do, say what I need to say, be who I need to be, without really letting the opinions of anybody else affect me in any particular way. Oh, weird. It just started raining. Bizarre. But there's a kind of wistful energy to it, and that's why it feels like a bit of a conflict to me. Like, you know, you're standing in your power, you know you're doing the right thing here. You're kind of following your gut, following your intuition and taking it where it's leading you, and you know that you're on the right path for you. There is a feeling of you setting yourself, well, just standing on a box and being all like, all right, this is what I think, this is what I stand for, this is who I am. And knowing that not everybody is going to get it. Not everybody is going to come with you. In fact, you know, they're going to carry on being down there, you know, with everybody else. It's difficult to differentiate between the fish, right? It's like you can't really tell them apart because they're fish, right? And there's a whole heap of them. They may have distinguishing marks and stuff like that, but effectively they're all swimming in the same water, they're all going the same way, and some of them are kind of beaching themselves into the boat, because it doesn't look like they've been caught. There's one actually trying to flip over the edge of the boat here. Right. But you're like, I'm not going to be that anymore, mate. I'm not going to pretend that I'm a fish, because I'm not a fucking fish. I'm a person, and I've got a boat, and I'm going to get in it, and I'm going to go. Right. Now, the clarifying cards were all sixes, aside from this two of wands, and I find that's really interesting because I should explain why. Hey, here we have the Six of Pentacles. That was the first card that came out, and that talks about balance, and it talks about, sometimes it can talk about charity, actually. That's the thing. But it does talk strongly about themes of reciprocity. Now, this card has annoyed me lots and lots of times, because I don't think that that shows equal reciprocity, because what we've got is somebody effectively breadcrumbing to people who are not in a position to be able to stand up for themselves and say, actually, you know, the whole system is corrupt, you know, there should be food for everyone. Instead, this rich person is coming along and he's just kind of scattering some breadcrumbs for these people, and he's expecting them to express gratitude for that in some way. Now, it's funny because for me, it doesn't feel like you are depicted on this card. It feels like you are looking at this scene and saying that this is not really acceptable anymore. Like, I'm not suggesting that you're all turning into anarchists and you're going to flip the system or anything like that, but it seems like the notion of inequality is really starting to raise its head in front of you, and you can kind of see it, and you're like, why is that okay? That's not okay. Like, we can't do that. You know, there's something quite broad in scope about the way that you are looking at the world around you, and perhaps, you know, your local environment, and kind of seeing things and going, like, this isn't right. You know, there's a feeling of injustice, you perceiving injustice around you, and it doesn't feel like you're going to stand for it anymore. The funny thing is, we then got these three cards, and they came out exactly in this order, right? We got the Six of Cups, the Two of Wands, and then the Six of Swords. Now, this is fascinating, because the Two of Wands, for me, is a card of crossroads energy, right? It's kind of looking at, reaching a crossroads and going, which road am I walking down now? Which way am I going to go? And you're kind of walking it through in your head, seeing where the logical consequence of where you end up is, and then making a decision, right? It's a logistical and planning stage card. But when you've got a crossroads, obviously you've got two options as to direction, and it seems like we have the direction here, because this is going back and this is going forwards. Interestingly enough, right? The Six of Cups is my card of the past. It can talk about childhood. It can talk about, you know, just a little bit, you know, not exactly recent past. It's further away than that. It can sometimes be past life cards, actually. I've seen it be that before too. But there's always something slightly indulgent and sentimental about this. You can see it be soulmates too, right? But it's kind of like the way things looked in the past, when we remember, you know, from a later point how it was, and it isn't always necessarily accurate. And then we've got the Six of Swords, which is a kind of assessment of the present and knowing that it is not for you. It is not good for you in any way, and you need to move away from it, right? Now, there's quite a bit of sadness, I think, with this card here. And we've got these Six Swords, and we've got these figures huddled in the boat, and it's like you don't actually want to leave behind what there is, but what is now is not for you. It doesn't feel right, and you need to move away from it. I feel like people figure pretty strongly in here. I mean, let's not miss the fact that we've got two boats here too, right? Both cards are moving in a particular direction. What it feels like is the understanding that there are people in your current environment who are not going with you where you are going, right? And I said that it was interesting because there was no major arcana, and in fact in the entire spread there's only one come up, and that's further along. But it was like all the major arcana was in the shadow cards. It was the theme for the reading. It was what is going on underneath. And like I said, it doesn't feel necessarily like there's very much going on around you at the moment, but actually you are changing and you are shifting. I think that it's just because you are so close to it at the moment that you can't quite perceive how much you are changed, right? And for better or worse, it looks like the path that you're treading now, the one that you have chosen for the future, moving forwards, the one that you know is right for you, is not, almost by definition, going to contain many of the people that are around you at the moment. It looks like there will be some sliding off of people over the month of October that perhaps before you didn't think that you would ever not be around, right? The Six of Cups, like I said, can indicate soul bonds too, and maybe some of these people are your soulmates, but it doesn't look like they're going to be with you moving forwards. It's kind of like their part in your life is now complete, your part in their life is now complete, and your paths are diverging. It's like it's tinged with sorrow, but at the same time there's an acceptance here. You know that this is what's happening. Yeah, see, the two cards that have come out there are the Page of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune. The Page of Swords for me is about changing the way that you think about things, right? It's quite incisive, not indecisive, by the way. I don't know if I copped that up as I was trying to say it. I mean, it's sharp thinking, it's high intellect, certainly, but it's kind of higher philosophical ideas. Like, it feels like you're kind of, I was going to say staking your flag, but actually there's too much movement here for that. It's almost like you're putting your flag up high and you're like, right, I'm going marching down this way now, and everybody's going to know exactly what I stand for and what I do because they'll be able to see my flag from fucking miles away, right? And not everybody in your environment is going to like that, and they are going to peel away from you as a result. The Wheel of Fortune being here tells me that the wheel is turning, right? There's an adjustment on your path that is happening at the moment. And like I said, I really do feel like some of the people that are around you are part of what needs to fall away as that wheel is turning. Yeah, there's the Four of Cups again there. It's quite possible that in some way this is not necessarily going to be a totally straightforward peeling away process either. I think that you might have to defend yourself against certain people, and I think that there will be an outright rejection of your ideas and your ideals, perhaps even your values, by these people that you thought would stand by your side forever. It's this card here we've got. It's the Fool. Now, this is a path untravelled by you, but it seems untravelled by many, actually. Oh my God. And there's the Six of Wands at the bottom of the deck, right? You know you're on the right path. Where you're going, you haven't been before. And that's why the other people aren't coming with you, right? Because perhaps they are frightened of that path. Perhaps it is just not their path. Whatever it is, there's no judgment there from you to them, or at least there shouldn't be, right? Just let them go. But it seems like they might have their two pennies worth first. And it's possible that you're going to feel a little bit isolated for a little while, but not forever. This is really, really important, because then we move to what's coming towards you in October. And it's the Three of Cups. There are new people coming in for you, Leo, and these are as much your tribe as the people that you are leaving behind. Do not feel like they are in some way disloyal or they have turned against you or anything like that. It's really important to remember that everybody is on their own journey, and it's not necessary for everybody to think the way that you do. In fact, even friends, it's not a necessary thing, right? Because we're all different and we all approach things in a different way. But there are new people coming in, right? And I'm not going to say they're going to fill the void of what is left behind, because I think everybody has a particular place in your heart, and we don't just stuff new people into that. That it is what it is. But Like I said, these are as much your tribe as the people that you're leaving behind, but they are your tribe for this period of your life. We've got the Ten of Swords there at the bottom. It speaks to completion. Right? Sometimes it can talk about feeling backstabbed and betrayed, and perhaps the last word that these people have to say to you about, you know, a matter is going to leave you feeling in that way, you know, sort of kind of left for dead by people that you thought cared about you. But whenever we get a 10, whenever we get a completion, we get something new coming in as a result, you know. And the very next card that comes in is the Fool again, right? So we've got 3 major arcana cards on the table. 2 of them are the Fool, and the other one is the Wheel of Fortune, right? The wheel is turning. You are being turned off down another path. And it's interesting because I don't think it's a direction that you actually envisage yourself going in. I think for a lot of you, you don't even know what this path is. You just know that people aren't coming with you. Like, you have no idea where you're going, which is very much Fool energy, but you're feeling a tug in a particular way. Now, with the Wheel of Fortune here, I think there's a strong indication that there is something kind of big coming up for you, right? And it's necessary for you to course correct here at this time. And suddenly, the Ten of Wands makes more sense, because the Ten of Wands is a card of burden. Flatly, that's the interpretation of it, right? It's taking on too much responsibility and all that kind of thing. But this shows you carrying people, right? And I don't think that you're carrying people anymore, specifically because I don't think that the people that you have been carrying have actually really needed it. They've just been kind of, I don't want to say freeloading, because that's kind of harsh as shit, but certainly they've been kind of coasting along with you doing the donkey work in an energetic sense, you know, at least. It's time to put these people down because they're not wounded, they're not injured, but they are stopping you from doing what you need to do. We had the Magician underneath, right? It's the focusing of your intent and your energy onto something in particular. And at this point with the Chariot, it is actually you. It's you that you need to focus on. And then we have the World underneath here, right? This is, more cycles are ending. 10s all over here. Loads of movement with the 6s. But this Magician and Chariot together, right? It's a really potent, very, very powerful combination. But you need not to be distracted by carrying people who can use their own legs. Actually, that's how that feels, right? So, things are ending, but new things, new people are coming in, right? And it really does feel like people, but for some of you, it could well indicate things like jobs and you know, houses and fucking, you know, whatever situation you have found yourself in. I do feel a very strong social component to it. So it could even be you turning your back on a particular group of people who, you know, you find you don't really align with their values anymore, and that's okay, right? You know, it's time for you to go. But I do think that some of them are going to stick the knife in before you get a chance to leave properly. The important thing is for you not to take it personally, right? Really don't take it personally. Like I said, Mercury is now, I think, in the shadow phase, and communication fuck-ups are an essential kind of, you know, part of Mercury retrograde. Take nothing personally. Say what you mean what you say, but don't necessarily assume that other people are doing the same, right? Because I think that would be a fair judgment in this situation. Now, the final card that's come out under the 3 of Cups is the 7 of Pentacles. And that for me is a card of being dissatisfied with your status quo in some way, right? But it's like, I'm going to get another card. That's 7 of Pentacles, please. Whoa. Judgment. That's 7 of Pentacles. Oh, I'm not taking all of those. There's fucking loads of cards there. 6 of Wands was in there as well as the Chariot, but put them all back in. Give them a chance to come out if they want to. Tell me about 7 of Pentacles, please. What is that here? 4 of Cups. There's the Chariot at the bottom of the deck now. right? Yeah, I think despite your best efforts, you're going to find yourself slightly preoccupied with what feels like harsh judgment and criticism from people that you thought were close friends, and the rejection that comes from it. Because I don't really see you deliberately walking away from people. This is the thing. I don't see you going, right, this is it, I've had enough, fuck off. I just feel like the more that you stand in your power, the more that you stand in your authenticity, the more other people are going to react to it at this point, right? And they are the ones who are going to move away from you. It feels like they are the ones who are, you know, rejecting you in some way. And we know as Leos it is very difficult to deal with rejection, and we do tend to carry the difficult feelings around as a result of it. Like, it's the Four of Cups again. That's 3 times in 3 decks it's come out. 2 of Cups and Judgment, right? I think that you're going to feel quite harshly judged. I think that you're going to feel quite rejected. You got to woosa. Breathe in, breathe out, and trust that there is something else coming in, because there is something coming else. There are more people coming in for a start. There are more soul connections coming in, romantic or otherwise. I don't actually feel like they're even slightly romantic, but I have to throw that in there, you know. Like the 3 of Cups, please. King of Wands. What about the 3 of Cups? Strength. Yeah. I mean, Leo, you just slapped out twice. In 2 cards, one after the other, right? This is difficult, but you're just going to have to woosa, accept it, don't judge anyone for it, right? Ah, that's interesting. We've got the 4 of Wands at the bottom of the deck there. It is time for you to start creating a new foundation for yourself, and this is necessarily going to include the new people that are coming in. Try not to focus too much on those that have gone, because they don't form part of the story anymore. It's not about staying in your own lane. It's about keeping front and center what it is that is important to you. Now, whether that is just you and the way that you show up in the world, or whether it's what you stand for, whether it's your value system, you know, whatever it is, you need to keep hold of it, right? And I'm not saying, you know, if you're kind of wandering along and you believe something that is wrong and somebody gives you evidence the thing that you're believing is wrong, like, I'm not saying you have to, you know, go, no, I'm going to continue on with what I'm talking about, what you feel in here, right? Be open to new information, absolutely, but kind of nail your colors to the mast, right? Let everybody know who you are, because there's good stuff coming, right? There's new relationships coming in. There are new soul bonds coming in. There's probably actually some bit of money coming in as well, actually, for some of you. But more than that, you know, there's the possibility for you to build something new, something solid moving forwards, if you continue to be authentic with it, right? I hope that that's made sense to someone. It's actually made quite a lot of sense to me. I'm going to go over to Vimeo now. So if you're interested, there's a link down in the description box, and I'm going to kind of pull this apart a little bit and examine it a little bit more. So if you're interested in that, yeah, like I said, come and join me. If not, no shade. I will see you in about 10 days or so for the mid-month readings. All right, take care.